of owning a cafe, and other heroic deeds by Beware the Tristero. Chapter 135. The Wedding. Part 1. The gent wasn't just as lavish as he thought he'd be.
Oh, let's go sit in the front.
I called this in a window seat.
Me too. Guys, look. There's TVs and video game controllers built in the back of the seats. That's so I can go.
His steady group, of course, were like little firecrackers of excitement whilst they scrambled around the surprisingly spacious craft that was split into 3 sections.
Wow, there are so many snacks. Listen, Jen, are these really just for us?
Mm-hmm. You can have all you want and take some with you too if you like, Choco-chan.
Really? Thank you. Choco-chan, be careful not to faint, kiddo.
The front of the plane contained the cockpit and 3 short rows of wide plush chairs in creamy colored leather.
I've been reading all about Shield-san's advances in aeronautics, but most of them went completely over my head, you know?
I could just about pronounce aeronautics, so you're way ahead of me, Izu-kun.
Tadashi-kun, don't say that. The books you read are super hard to understand, you know?
So says the kid who's completing his 3rd first aid course.
Yeah, well, wrapping bandages properly can't compare to studying law, can it?
Both of you are amazing, so just take the compliments already.
I agree with Kanchan. Why are you making me agree with Kanchan?
Sorry, Nato-kun.
You should want to agree with me, you know? The middle section was more closed in. It had been arranged as a circle of individual chairs around a table which hosted tablets, telecommunications ware, and a pole that hosted monitors showing news feeds, business reports, stocks, and the like.
I sure could get used to this kind of living. Everything's too new and shiny. What if I break something?
Jinhan, come over here and sit with me and Nabi-kun, okay? You're not going to hurt anything, so take some deep breaths, alright?
Well, Jizomi, will you listen to some music with me? I hate freaking out, so don't let me upset Show or anyone, okay?
You're not upsetting anyone now. Here we go. See how nice the seats are. Just close your eyes, put on the sleeping mask, and lean on me. The back section, however, very much mimicked the front, only the windows were smaller, and the chairs could slide down into beds with a surround that could lift up and form a blackout canopy, and on either side was a bar. One was serving drinks, while the other hosted made-to-order pancakes, waffles, and omelets.
How many selfies can we take in an hour? I can't believe we'll get to Yagoshima so quickly. Zashi, come here and take a picture with these cocktails.
Amuro, dude, you've got to see these seats. They have massage functions.
Mayuki-kun, they've got your favorite maple syrup.
Baraka-san, why don't you come and sit with us? I think the men will want to crowd around the middle so they can watch that baseball game together. Well, thank you, Midoriya-san. Oh, call me Inko, please. We're all friends here, aren't we? It really was something, and so seeing that Dabi had been cloistered with the other more nervous flyers, he allowed himself to be pulled into the thrum of women who'd all declared themselves his maids of honor and allowed them to gush all over him. Masho-chan, did Toshinori-kun let slip about any little surprises for you?
Does your honeymoon suite really have its own hot spring?
I can't believe you're having your ceremony over the bridge over Toroki Falls. Your wedding photos are going to look amazing. Chuckling, he barely noticed when the jet taxied onto the runway and took off, his spirits soaring alongside the plane and all of the wonderful people inside of it. Toshinori-san, you're wearing a patch on the carpet, you know? Standing in the quiet lounge area, the very kind stack of Yakushima Airport had sectioned off for him and his guests. Just wasn't something he could do.
Yep.
Now, Masa-san, I wouldn't worry too much. If what Sasaki-san told us this morning is true, then Yagi-san is actually being pretty composed right now. The second jet would be landing in 5 minutes.
To be young again and in love. Not that I want either of you. As 2 of my top officers getting all Twitter-pated and running out on me and our department anytime soon, alright? Don't give me that innocent look, because I've seen the way you've been looking at Sato-san, Sanzakun. She's a fine woman, but I've seen her snakily looking at bridal magazines when the reception desk, one of the rare occasions, were not busy. So you just be careful.
He'd not seen his fiancée properly in just over a week, and now
Mom, son, you're such a slave driver. Let them live a little, why don't you?
Soon he'd be able to lift Shouta into his arms and spoil him.
Absolutely rotten, wouldn't he?
This coming from the man who was very nearly in our custody, Chuckling as he noticed Tatsuhiro raise his head in mock surrender, his body zipping to stand behind a similarly grinning Mirai, whilst Kenji-san smirked and Naomasa tittered with Sansa and David, the group having bonded quite well during the flight and the few hours they'd been there trying up loose ends and double-checking bookings. To see both of his former sidekicks getting on, to see the man he'd once been in love, relaxed and pleased to be here, to be pleased for him. Well, that meant the world, didn't it? Oh, there she goes. Another textbook landing. Blinking, he turned from the man who'd helped to build him into the symbol of peace to watch the Shield Industries plane flawlessly glide down the runway. Shield-san, how much would it cost? Theoretically, of course, to buy one of those beauties, A plane which carried the children he couldn't adore anymore if he tried. Well, they cost upwards of $3 million to make as a more basic model. A plane that similarly contained their parents, all of them dear friends to him, and people who had given him valuable insight as he parented Nato-kun with his soon-to-be husband. And how much would a dear friend of all might have to pay, A plane equally brimming with pro-hero talent, the younger men and women, excellent bastions of their vocation, and all incredibly endearing in their own ways. Well, for Toshinori's friends, I'd have to start out with $4 million, of course. I can't be seen to be biased now, can I? There are laws against such things back in the States, you know? A plane that had just pulled into the gate, a set of covered stairs slowly slinking towards its door. I see. Doors that the air stewards would pull open to allow the family he'd so unexpectedly gained to leave the jet and make their approach.
There, Atsu-kun. I'll buy you a toy one to play with and you can dream up the rest, okay?
My, why ever would I dream of such things when I have you, for real, Mirai-chan? It can hardly wait! Allowing everyone else to leave the plane before him, Shouta bowed at the stewards and thanked them properly for their service and hospitality. You're so very welcome, and congratulations on behalf of us all on your wedding, Aizawa-san.
Oh yes, we wish you all the best. I hear that the weather is going to be glorious.
Thank you very much, and thank you for looking after my family so well. We've had a wonderful time. Oh, thank you again, sir. And we look forward to returning you to Tokyo on Monday evening. Before making his way down the stairs, through an innocuous whitewashed tunnel featuring a few framed kanji scrolls and large potted bird of paradise plants, into a similarly minimalist corridor, and then finally into the private arrivals gate. Nato, my boy, why don't you and Toshi-kun go and grab him for me, Chuckling, his heart fluttering as it usually did when he saw him, he felt his cheeks pink a little and dutifully awaited his chuckling escorts. He couldn't believe how lucky he was, really. Everyone, make way. And as he watched the boys rush towards him, their smiles resplendent as they reached for his hands. You're so mean, Shoni. Toshiji is gonna explode if he doesn't get to hug you in the next 5 seconds. He couldn't have been more pleased, more content. Yeah, Papa. What kind of romantic stunt are you trying to pull here, huh? That's hard as fun enough for you without more of the absence, you know? Squeezing their smaller fingers with his own, he allowed them to pull him along, his smile widening as he approached the man who would be his husband tomorrow. Shouta, have you really missed me so much? His soon-to-be husband, who whipped him into a hug the second he was within snagging distance. The kiss they shared receiving uproarious applause as he was lifted off of the ground and spun. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, Usugi-san, he murmured fondly, his own arms wrapping around the other's neck whilst they regarded each other. I've been keeping you waiting too, kitten, the number one grinned, but I'm done waiting now, if you are. Oh. Does that mean that you're finally going to forget about that silly Western superstition of not seeing your partner before the wedding? I'd hate to think that I'd have to sleep all by myself in that fancy suite you've bought for us tonight, you know? He murmured into the other's ear. At the tightening of the arms around him and another deep kiss, he was pretty sure that he'd get his way. Superstitions are rather silly, aren't they?
chuckling, his fingers deftly running through the hairs at the nape of his partner's neck in a way that he knew the other enjoyed. He didn't resist when the other looped him into a bridal carry, the blush on his cheeks nowhere near as dark as it would have been just over 2 years ago. Even under catcalls, yowls, and wolf whistles, their community rang all around them. Such good people. Such good times. Watching as their friends and family were loaded onto the 3 minibuses the onsen resort had provided for them, Toshinori could only sigh wistfully.
I almost can't believe that we're here,
he murmured gently to the man who stood beside him, his right arm looped around strong, capable shoulders, whilst they both waved at everyone, similarly smiling and waving back at them.
And yet, here we are.
The raven-haired eatery owner replied congenially.
If I haven't said so already, I thank you for all of this,
he furthered gently.
You got so much on your plate as All Might, and I know this is what you want too. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate how hard you've been working to bring everything together. How much I appreciate you,
he added with that small, soft, endearing smile he'd come to love and cherish so much.
Sweetheart, this is nothing, really,
he replied, his tone awestruck.
I would have swam us all here if I'd had to.
He chuckled.
And don't act as though you haven't been working just as hard. We'll probably be bored to tears when we retire, won't we?
He mused, his own smile broadening as his fiancée nudged him in the side.
Retire, you.
The younger man snickered.
Something tells me that even if you did decide to slow down on the whole hero thing, Nezu and Marai would find plenty for you to do between them and Yagi-sensei. Has a certain ring to it, don't you think? Me, a teacher, really?
He chopped the buses, having pulled out of the smaller private car park, where he'd set up a little surprise for his partner.
I think Aizawa-sensei sounds much better, or dare I say, Yagi Aizawa-sensei,
he brained whilst walking his bow through the lot and towards a storage area some attendants were opening for them.
It's a good job that our favorite dog-mouse bear isn't here to listen to this.
His beautiful partner huffed, that head full of sumptuous raven locks shaking ruefully.
Can you imagine both of us teaching at UA? I'll have to poach some of our community to come to the cafe, and you'll have to bump our local pros up the hero ranks, won't you?
He added, those obsidian eyes of his glittering. He did so love looking into those eyes. He could look into them forever.
We'll have to do some plotting and scheming to ensure he doesn't get that idea into his head until we're ready then, won't we? So let's try to steer our conversations to other things when he joins us tomorrow, eh?
He winked whilst placing a kiss onto the other's forehead as he turned him around the corridor leading into the storage unit itself.
And speaking of scheming, he grinned, what do you think of your transportation for this evening, huh?
Watching as Shouta blinked, looking up at him bewilderedly before releasing his most sincere, brightest smile, Toshinori knew he'd made all the right choices.
I had initially wanted to leap you around the island, and since there were no roller coasters available, I remembered that Nomori had taken me on a few spins around Mushitafu on her crotch rocket, and wanted to have me clinging onto you on this shield cruiser in your favorite hero suit colors with... Wait, is that a black cat detail on the back?
Preening as his partner circled the custom-made vehicle David had insisted on making for him, he couldn't resist following him around it, the tips of his fingers trailing across the other's t-shirt-clad side.
Do you like it? I think it's beautiful,
the shorter man replied reverently before a sneaky smirk spreading his lips.
I can only hope that my red silk robes that you like so much and the underwear a certain group of discerning friends took me shopping for can compare, so...
Roping the other's middle into his arms, he proceeded to kiss his sneaky, gorgeous, witty, devious, magnificent lover senseless in the cicada-accented quiet of the shed-like structure they had all to themselves. It wouldn't hurt anyone if they were a little late to the banquet at their onsen resort now, would it?